if you really think about it. With his shooting, his defense, he's had like 3 steals a game for the last 3 or 4 games in a row. The rebounding has been crazy. He's defending freaking Giannis Antetokounmpo and getting the best of him while scoring 19 points and multiple rebounds and 7 assists. So, like, even with my love for Deuce McBride, it would be crazy if you didn't even consider Josh Hart as well because of everything he does. I know as a fan of basketball and a guy who watches how teams are usually constructed, usually that 2 guard is a quick trigger catch and shoot 3-point shooter.
My man knows ball,
which is why we liked Dante DiVincenzo in that role, which is why I advocated for Deuce in that role, which is why Shamet was in that role when he was healthy. But at the same time, Josh Hart does so much that the coach or other people might think about the unconventional starting 5, especially because when you're looking at games like today, where the Raptors are begging him to shoot the ball, he's shooting the damn ball. He hit multiple 3-point shots today when left open purposely, and he still is giving you the rebounding, and he's still giving you the assists. I think he might have had like 6 assists by halftime. Josh Hart did, and his motor is just off the charts. This is a great freaking problem to have. This is a great freaking problem to have for people who like me, who was a little bit nervous when OG Anunoby went down. It is such a luxury to have multiple people stepping up on the defensive end at the same time, to the point where you're just like, damn, well, you can start too. We got 8-9 starters on this damn team. This is a championship team. When you got 8 and 9 people who can start, when your best player, who was a plus 23 in the entire NBA, 4th in the league before he went down, when he goes down and we can still keep going and not miss a beat, that's a championship team, man. This is making me excited.
I want to, first of all, my man Jay Ellis knows ball. Absolutely 100% nail on the head with the prototypical way that rosters are built. Let me rephrase that. Championship rosters are built. That 2-dart spot is absolutely a quick trigger 3, which is why I advocate for Deuce McBride, because what he showed tonight, that is the foot on the net that we've been missing since Dante DiVincenzo left, is someone who will be relentless in volume shooting at a high clip. To have that gives you that edge where you're not clawing back at the start of a second quarter because either the first was tied or after the first you were down. That's not going to happen with Deuce, because even the threat of him wide open is going to keep guys more honest in terms of their defensive instincts, which allows more single coverage beyond him on the weak side. So to me, you got to start. Josh Hart has been hitting his threes, but he's on a volume 3-point shooter. And you can't depend on him in the same way. So you never want to compromise really being 5 out to start the first 5 minutes of a game. Do it with Deuce McBride and allow him to be that quick trigger. However, there's one caveat. Now, this works for Josh Hart being on the bench, but there is one thing that I have been extremely impressed by Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges, and that is the double teams. Josh Hart last year, I thought, was one of the weakest double team in terms of decision making. Even to start this season as well, I was like, we talked about it here on the show. Josh Hart, why are you hedging on that? Why are you giving help when help is not needed? And the man you're helping has his guy under control. And the last 4 or 5 games, it's been a completely different story. His decision making on when to send an extra himself on the ball and when not to, but also knowing when to strip himself off that double and get back to his man and close out on the 3-point line has been immediate, and it's been really high IQ. And also Mikal Bridges. And I think this has been a conscious effort, because I don't know if you guys caught it. Then it was a third quarter. Jalen Brunson missed the double. He was kind of just staying there and watching Emmanuel quickly in the paint when crashed to the rim when Mikal Bridges was laying down under there, and he yelled at JB. He was like, you got to help. And as the camera cut away, they were arguing with each other, walking back to the bench. And I was like, Mikal Bridges has become the voice of reason and the loud voice of leadership on the defensive end of the ball and calling out coverages and demanding where guys should be. And he sets the tone through his actions. That is the first modicum of what a double looks like as Bridges. And following suit to me is Josh Hart. They have become a deadly duo, and I loved the Deuce and Bridges double teams on Brandon Ingram too, especially on the perimeter, Bridges' ability to play with gaps is elite.
Elite.
It is first team all defense, elite ability at playing the gaps. And him and Deuce had Brandon Ingram in fits tonight.
Jail.
Exactly. Absolutely. So to me, there's a case for both. But I think that what Josh Hart can bring, he can also bring on the bench. You need that quick three to start the game with Deuce McBride, the two.
Go ahead, Ryan.
No, I mean definitely I do. I definitely agree with what both of y'all are saying. I do agree that you need a quick trigger at 3 at the 2, so Deuce McBride makes more sense. But I do like the fact that, and I mentioned this in the previous post game as well. Late game situations, you basically have more than 5 players that you can play in those late game situations because of their decision making when they have the ball in their hands. And I was like, that might cause Mike Brown a conundrum because it's like, who do you play in that last 5? When it comes to crunch time. So the fact that we have so many players that can, handle the ball, facilitate the ball, make good decisions, make good defensive reads, etc. It's a great problem to have because, and most championship teams, they have players that come off the bench that could start for other teams in the league. I mean, look who's coming off the bench for the Knicks right now. Like, you have Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson definitely has the talent to be a starting center in this league, and he's coming off the bench. You have guys like before you had McBride coming off the bench, but he's proven to be a starter. And I'm hoping that he keeps his starting position. But before, he was a bench guy, and he has starting talent. So I mean, you have a bunch of players on this team that has starting talent come off the bench, and it just goes to show you that, the Knicks are pretty much built to make that run. The only question now is, as the season goes on, you expect them to improve and things of that nature. And then it's like, okay, can they put it all together and become that near perfect unit when it's necessary to where they can make that final jump to winning a championship? But as of right now, the way the team is constructed, the Knicks definitely have a championship team that have multiple guys that can start for a lot of teams in the league.
Yeah, versatility for sure. This helter-skelter cast of players that has been put together for these last stretch of games. The lineup of Jalen Brunson, Deuce McBride, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, and Karl-Anthony Towns are plus 28 so far. I mean, that's not plus 28, plus 2. I'm sorry.
Oh,
plus 2.8. Plus 28 went crazy. Plus 2, plus 2.8 plus so far. Plus 28. Averaging 127 points per game. And giving up 124, it seems. Okay. Winning team is doing his thing without OG Anunoby, who's been our most impactful player on his team so far. I want to get your thoughts, Ryan. Though, like you didn't choose, man. If you had to choose between Josh Hart and Deuce, who you want to start? I ain't hear you pick one.
No, I did mention it in the beginning. I was like, I understand that, at the 2 guard, you need that quick trigger 3. So I was saying that Deuce would be my preference because I think, I think, looking at it from like what lineup seems best, I think with Deuce being inserted into the starting lineup, not only does he provide that quick 3, but he also provides defense at point of attack. So ideally, you would want to keep Deuce in there in the starting lineup. And of course, the OG comes back. I think a lineup of Cat, OG, Bridges, McBride, and Brunson would be the way to go, just based on defense. And you have 5 out. All guys can shoot the 3, and I expect that team to give fits on both sides of the ball.
Now the other question is like, I know a lot of people were saying as far as the 2 guard shooting, Shamet is the best probably shooting 2 guard on the team. Is that still the case today?
No. I think Deuce is the better shooter now, and I think Deuce has. And I've always had this complaint about Shamet. and this is what differentiated him from Devo, but that McBride has this element. He can shoot with defense draped over him. He can shoot with no space. Deuce McBride, that is. Shamet needs to have some space between him and the defender. If he's crowded or he's doubled on a blitz, he has trouble. He did still release it, but he has trouble being accurate under those circumstances. What I have seen from Deuce this season, dude, he is a clone of Dante DiVincenzo's movement shooting, volume shooting, relocation shooting, all of it, and shooting with no space. So to me, and I've seen in the playoffs too, I had to lean toward Deuce McBride as our best shooter now for our perimeter rotation.
It's funny. I feel like Shamet is the quicker release. I do feel like Deuce, he's more accurate to me with the defense on him. I feel like I've seen him shoot more contested threes.
That's the word I was looking for.
Than Shamet. Yes. And I've actually seen him shoot threes off the dribble with pressure.
You said it better than
me. Doesn't happen a lot. But yeah, I think this stretch is Deuce is kind of starting to run away with the best shooter on the team moniker. Karl Anthony Towns, man. What are you gonna do about that, Karl Anthony Towns? What are you gonna do about
Nah, best shooting big man ever in the league. Yeah, he gotta get his act together from 3-point range because the 3-point shoot ain't looking pretty at the moment. He got to step it up.